Welcome to the Full Nelson. Today I want to talk to you guys a little bit about what you should do if somebody tries to break into your house. I had an experience this past week that's helped me become much more informed on what I will do in the future if somebody tries to break into my house, and what I will be doing on a day-to-day basis to better protect myself and my family. So I'm going to tell you guys this story. This past week, on Sunday night at 11:15, my wife and I were sitting in our living room, and she was watching TV. She had some headphones on, and I had some headphones on and was talking to one of my friends in Canada. And because we had our headphones on, we couldn't hear anything, and somebody started trying to open our door. Well, eventually my wife heard some talking, and she took her headphones off, and she could hear somebody, because the window was open on our apartment. She could hear somebody say, "Open the effing door. We know you're in there." She went white as a ghost and looked at me and yelled, "Somebody is trying to get into our house." Well, I took my headphones off, and I could tell she was panicked, but I couldn't see what the big deal was. I thought, if somebody's knocking, just answer the door. Well, the instant I took my headphones off, I hear somebody torquing on that doorknob trying to get into our apartment. And I thought, something's not right here. Well, I didn't hear the part that she said where the person said, "Open the effing door." All I knew was I took my headphones off, somebody was trying to open the doorknob, or open the door, torquing on the doorknob. So I immediately walked into the bedroom, handed my wife this gun, which is already loaded, ready to go. I said, "You stay in here." I grabbed my 12 gauge and I walked over to the door. Because I didn't hear what she said about this person yelling out, "Open the effing door, we know you're in there," I thought, well, all I know is somebody's trying to open my door. And since all the lights are on and TV and everything else on, maybe it's somebody from our church or a friend or family member who is trying to get in, and we're not responding. They knocked or whatever and we weren't responding, so they just tried to open the door and come into the house because they knew we were home, but clearly, we had headphones on or something. They thought, well, they're clearly there. I'll try to get in and see if I can't talk to them. So I thought there's a possibility it could be a friend or family member. I didn't hear the other stuff, or I would have known that this is not somebody that I should be opening the door for. So I take my 12 gauge and walk over to the door, and with my hand on fire control, I grab onto the doorknob after I undo the deadbolt, swing the door open, and as I swing the door open, I immediately put my left hand on the forend of this gun, and I take 2 or 3 steps back as that door is swinging open. So I'm in a low and ready position where I can lift that gun up and shoot immediately if I need to. I didn't have it immediately pointed at the threat. Well, as that door is swinging open, my eyes are immediately focused on the hands of these individuals. I want to know if they're armed. And if I see a gun or a knife or anything like that, they're going to die immediately, period. Well, as I open the door, don't recognize the people immediately. But I'm backed away from the door because I don't want to be close to them in case they tried to rush me or anything like that. So I'm back 2 or 3 steps into my apartment, and I said, "What can I do for you, gentlemen?" Well, it was 2 Hispanic guys who had tattoos and stuff all over them. They looked like pretty rough characters. And the guy in front was probably 5'8", 5'10", and I could tell something wasn't quite right with him. His eyes just didn't look right. They looked glazed over, high, something like that. Anyway, he didn't say anything. He just looked at me kind of like, okay, he didn't even look scared, really. He just looked at me like, okay. Well, his buddy that was behind him was a bigger guy, and he said, "We don't mean any disrespect. We are just wondering if you had a cigarette." Now, mind you, my wife heard him saying, "Open the effing door, we know you're in there." Who does that over a cigarette? Obviously, I knew that wasn't what they were there for. Obviously, the guy was scared he might die, and so he said, "We don't mean any offense, we just wondering if you had a cigarette." Well, I immediately said, "No, I don't, and you shouldn't be looking for one at 11:15. I closed the door, locked the deadbolt, got on my cell phone, and called 911. Now, I explained to the dispatch everything that was going on. Well, while I'm telling the dispatch, these people are here, they are at my house, whatever, my wife tells me my wife tells me the whole story. She says, I heard them yelling this. Had I known they yelled that, I never would have opened the door. I would have kept my gun trained on the door and just called 911, but I didn't know that. I just thought somebody's trying to get my apartment. It must be an emergency. Maybe it's friend, family member. That's the only reason I opened the door. Anyway, so I talked to 911, said, this is what's going on. They said, we'll send an officer over. Funny thing is, when I'm talking to the lady on dispatch, she says, well, do you still have your shotgun on you? I said, of course. And she says, well, can you put it away? And I said, well, why would I do that? And she says, because the police are on their way. And I said, well, you have them call me when they get here, and then I'll put it away. I had no idea, and I told her, I said, I don't know if they're still armed, if they're still out there, I don't know if they're armed or they're still out there. Maybe they went back to their vehicle, if they have a car out there. Maybe they're going to get some friends or buddies or whatever, get guns. I don't know, and until the police get here, no, I won't be putting my gun away. So she said, okay, well, we'll do that. So she gave the officer all the information, got off the phone with me, and the officer called me and said, what's going on? I explained everything. He said, well, I'll come check it out. And I said, I'm pretty sure they were at the wrong place looking for trouble or whatever. I don't think they were trying to rob me or anything because they weren't armed. They weren't. Anyway, I don't know for sure why they came. I think it was a mix-up. They had the wrong address, but I don't know. Anyway, the officer said, okay, we'll come over and check it out. He came around. I never heard from him anymore that night. Never heard from those people. It's been, a while since then. No other issues. Now, the police officer did mention to me when I explained to him everything that happened, he said, you shouldn't have opened the door. And I explained to him, well, I didn't know. I thought maybe it was an emergency friend or family member. That's why I grabbed my gun just in case it was, somebody that was bad news. I never would have opened it had I heard the rest of what my wife said. She was just so panicked she couldn't get it out. And he said, okay, well, that's fine. You did fine then. Now, if you have a situation similar to this and somebody's banging on your door, there's a few lessons that I learned and things that I would do differently. One, I feel like I did everything pretty well considering the information I had. I didn't know that they had yelled that stuff. But if somebody is banging on your door and you can tell they're trying to get into your house without your permission, and you can tell they're a threat, it's not somebody that's just a friend or whatever, don't open the door. Go get your gun. Train it on the door, stop the entry point, the door or the window or any of those places. The entry point is the best place to stop the threat. Don't go into your bedroom and barricade yourself in or anything like that, because that person could enter your home and wander around your house. The only situation which you'd barricade yourself in a bedroom or something like that is if you were caught unarmed in your home and you saw somebody you didn't recognize, run to your bedroom, lock the door, call 911. That's probably your best defense in that situation. But if you have access to firearms, don't do that and lose the tactical advantage. Train your firearm on the entry point, and once you're prepared to defend yourself, then call 911, not the other way around. I didn't call 911 first, and I don't think you ever should, because if that person comes in through the window or the door immediately, would you rather be on the phone or have a gun to defend yourself? You're responsible to protect yourself first, and then call 911 or whatever. Anyway, so that's what I would do. Train your firearm on the door, call 911. Explain to them somebody's trying to get my house, and they'll come. Now, that's one of the valuable things that I learned. The second thing is that, and if that person obviously tries to come through the door, when you're on the phone with 911, you're all ready to go and you can do what you need to do. There's a lot of YouTube videos and stuff like that out there that you can listen to where they have somebody who's on 911 dispatch, and people do just that. They say somebody's trying to get into my house, they have the gun trained on the door, sure enough the guy kicks the door in and comes after them, and they blow them away. That's the best way to handle that. Stop them at the entry point, you're all ready to go to defend yourself, and you're calling the police. Now, the other thing I learned is a lot of the time when I come home, I don't keep my concealed carry weapon on me. I have other guns like these loaded in my bedroom, so I thought, well, I'll just leave my concealed carry gun over here, or, on the desk or on my dresser in the other room, whatever. If my door's locked, I could get to a gun or whatever. That is a mistake. If my door had not been locked and those people just walked right into my house, who knows what they would have done had they not seen any guns, any show of force, anything to stop them or deter them. Maybe they would have said, whoops, wrong house, and left, or maybe they would have continued with whatever they were planning on doing. It would have probably not been a very good situation to be in. So just because you're home doesn't mean you shouldn't have your concealed carry firearm on you. I think that's a valuable lesson I learned and a mistake that I made. Keep it on you all the time, because if somebody barged in through the window or the door, you left the door unlocked, split second, your life's in danger, or the lives of your family members are in danger, you need to have it on you. It's the same reason why you would carry it out in public, is just because you never know, you're only going to have a split second, and you may need to use it to deter a threat. So those are some of the valuable lessons that I learned. That's the advice I would give you guys when it comes to stopping an intruder into your home. If you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to leave those in the comment section. Stay safe. I hope you guys have a nice day. See ya.